Hi, this is TapCat. Welcome to part 2 of Let's Play Divinity Original Sin. Okay, the first thing I want to do, I wasn't really thinking when we wrapped up last time, but my wizard took a lot of damage in the last fight. So we're going to go ahead and target him with a regeneration spell. And you can see his health bar is already filling up. Now I need to find, well, let's check some random barrels here just to see. What I was going to say is I need to find this wizard, Arhu, and see if we can get going on our quest. Apparently we came to this city in part to find a murderer. And so this wizard supposedly has some information for us. And apparently there's also some sort of plague going on. There's actually a lot going on here. They're getting attacked by orcs. So this ship is burning, and it looks like people are mostly interested in just watching it. I've put my mouse over all of them. There's no, conversation word bubble or anything. So, since none of them are actually doing anything, it doesn't seem like we can actually help. If we could, I would do that. Okay, not a lot in these containers, so I don't really think I'm going to screw around with that either. And honestly, I don't really want to get sidetracked either. So, why don't we just sort of stick to our goal. Alright, I will grab the hammer. Oh. Hey, that thing doesn't belong to you, does it? Put it down and back away, crook. Yes, sir. So that answers a question that's been in my mind this whole time, which is, does that matter? Does anybody care if you take stuff? And the answer does appear to be yes. Okay, this is a big door, and I don't think it leads outside. So let's see what it is. Alright, that's alright. I don't want to sneak. Horatius. Wow, keep your pleasantries to yourself. What are you doing inside this warehouse snooping around? If it's conversation you're looking for, I'd recommend my comrade Florius, or as I prefer to call him, Loose Lips McGee. Okay. Well, let's ask him why he has such strong feelings about it. That idiot man-child would sooner spend an hour chatting up a thief than a minute arresting him. I only hope he gets transferred out of this warehouse and straight to the perimeter. Let him rot off a zombie's ear instead of mine. I'll take my leave, thank you. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Well, here's Florius. Well, a source hunter. A very hearty welcome to you. Excuse me, a very hearty welcome to our humble warehouse. Have a look around, and don't mind if I pick your brain about the scoop around Andevale. I'm behind on my current affairs. Well, let's ask him what he knows of current affairs. This Jake business is quite the scandal, no? I myself suspected his wife Esmeralda, and the butcher seconds that. Let me tell you. Then again, and you didn't hear this from me, he's going through quite the nasty divorce himself, and there's his children to consider. But I imagine his youngest, Kimberly, won't mind. Never did get on well with her mother ever since the incident. Oh, it's an unparalleled pleasure having a fresh ear around here. Yeah, I can imagine. All right. So let's talk to this guy, actually, because he's guarding a door. Well, it's locked, but it looks important. Salutations, source hunters. Salutations, source hunters, I see. I'm Sergeant Curtius, proud protector of this house of Legion goods. What's in the room exactly? Well, this is a storing house for Legion supplies, perhaps the most important building in the realm by my and others' estimation, and I, Sergeant Curtius, have been trusted to guard it. Okay, well, I can't really do much about that, I don't think. I can't really explore. I see. Yeah, there's money in there. There's lots of money in there. That's all well and good. It's not really what I'm looking for, though. That's... Oh, damn it. Alright, I didn't mean... I wasn't thinking. Oh, holy crap. Are you kidding me? Wow. Well... Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to flee. It's not so much... I have no idea if we could beat the guards or not, but I don't want to kill a guard in this city. That just seems really horrible. North Kaiseal, West Beach. So, north is, you know, like kind of right in front of me. That seems like a gate to go outside. So, let's go up this way. I think this is what we want. Okay. Stop that, please. I just want to find the barracks. And that was a storehouse, not barracks. So... See, that's what I want to be able to ask. It's so funny. Like, they have all these canned questions that you're allowed to ask. But what I want to ask is, can you point me to the barracks? That would be good. Okay, so that's a woman's house. And, yeah, I guess I'm, you know, I'm not going to, oh, brother. Bah. That's awesome. Yeah, alright, I won't screw around with this. Let's just keep looking. Here's an idea. Let's show the map. Now, I don't suppose that they've got any kind of quest marker or... I don't see anything. So, I thought there might be any sort of, like, you know, arrow or anything like that that would help tell me where I'm supposed to go. Say, no one's around. You wouldn't raise a fuss if I, borrowed one of these fish, would you? Borrow indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid. Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear. Okay, well, I'm going to ask if he's in the habit of stealing. I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times. But what choice have I got now? If it's steal or starve, I'll choose steal. Okay, I said this is going to be interesting. So what do you think? Should I snag a fish? Okay, so my answer to that is that that merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone. And the guy sighs and says, I suppose you've got a point. Another day, another rumbling belly. Yeah, seriously, man, it's not cool. He's got to live too. So, a lot of guards. Yeah, so I think from now on, I am going to try to roleplay this. Like, I'm not going to steal stuff out of crates in town. Even if there's not a guard around. Okay, am I going to examine that or am I going to take that? I can't really tell. See, all of this stuff is well and good, too. But I just want to find the stupid wizard. What about the signpost? Will this help? West. Oh, East Barracks and the East Gate. Okay. Now, here's the tricky part. Is it this east or the other path? This actually looks pretty good to me. So I think we're headed to the barracks. I think we have managed to kind of stumble our way. Although it could have been the other path. This actually doesn't look like barracks. This looks a lot like not barracks, actually. Okay. Those look like guards. Yeah, this is leaving town. Area is still under development. Closed off for now. Alright, fair enough. I mean, this is an alpha. I'm going to cut him slack on stuff like that for sure. Okay, so this is a training ground. That's obvious. And I think it's also fairly obvious that we should be at the barracks at this point. Let me do this. Let me zoom out as much as I can. So, I mean, I assume that guy's up there. What I was looking for is, are there any stairs that are kind of outside, or do I need to go in? Now, that's a path. Looks like it's going somewhere else. Okay. So I'm pretty sure what we want to do is go into that building. And we should be good. So it took us a little bit of time. But I think we're going to get there. Okay, sorry. I should have paid more attention. I was sort of looking around, to be honest. Alright, here are the stairs. So this should be where the wizard is. I see. So you can't just walk up the stairs, you have to select them. And it says we're in the wizard's study. And there he is. How goes the investigation, Source Hunter? Well, Christ, I don't know a damn thing. About Jake's murder. Captain Aureus, the commanding officer of the Legion here in Kaisil, will be handling the practicalities of the investigation. So be sure to find him in this building and report any of your findings. What happened the night of the murder? Well, from what I can piece together, sometime after midnight, Jake arrived at the local inn, the King Crab, and entered a room rented to an unknown woman. Shortly thereafter, a great commotion, a glass shattering, a man screaming out in pain, feet stomping, and bodies falling in a great tussle broke out. The innkeeper rushed into the room and found Jake there, dead and alone. When I inspected it, I saw some clear indication of source magic, and that is why I summoned you to Kaisil. Okay, what do I need to know about this place? Well, there's no small answer to that question. Orcs, undead, what would you like to know? What's this about undead? These corpses started crawling from their graves around 2 years ago now, and myself and the Legion were summoned shortly thereafter. The city's been shrinking ever since, with citizens finding safe passage out and skeletons forming a tighter and tighter belt around the city. Our current fortifications should hold, especially now that my stasis blaster is up and running. But Kaisil can't survive forever with one meager trade route and a smattering of half-starved citizens milling about. A stasis blaster? That sounds interesting. A powerful contraption indeed, designed specifically for Kaisil by the great impish engineer Sulfia Shortfuse. In the nearby ruins, I managed to find a strangely powerful magical stone that imbues it with fantastic regenerative energy. Precisely the opposite of that which fuels the undead. Alright. Well, orcs. Let's hear more about that. I wouldn't have thought there'd be anything of interest in Kaisil for orcs, but they launched a full-scale attack a fortnight ago. We lost many of our already limited troops in the attack, and I had to exhaust my library of spells before they were driven back. I believed that to be the end of it, but as you witnessed firsthand, another group just assaulted the harbor. That little squad was nothing like the first wave, but they still managed to fell some of our troops. I was just on my way to lend my staff to that kerfuffle, but you beat me to the punch. I didn't think I did, actually. Oh, the ones we saw outside in our last installment. Okay, well, I think we have asked him all we can, and that was useful in the sense that we got some background information. Boy, this is quite a contraption. But not useful in the sense of like really knowing where to go or what to do. So this is pretty interesting watching those books sway. That's a nice little bit of atmosphere. At any rate, I hate to say it, I think the only thing I can think to do is we have to find that Captain Aureus and try to talk to him. Because, I mean, I don't really have any idea where to go to investigate, I have to admit. So there is Aureus. What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Ha! Look, do what you must in Kaisil, but don't make waves, and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs. You hear? I have enough on my mind running expeditions into hostile territory. Okay. Well, let's ask about Jake's murder. Gods above. Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous. I told that wizard brat of an Arhu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop, understand? I'm in command of this town. Not Mayor Cecil, not Arhu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you. Alright, I'm not leaving. We're going to talk about Esmeralda. Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What, you're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see, not idle superstition. Yeah, unless the source hunter is involved, and then I have a feeling you'd be convicted pretty quickly. Okay. Can I change the subject? Alright, we're going to ask him about the Legion. The Legion is none of your concern, but fine, go ahead. About these expeditions into hostile territory. The bravest of the brave went out looking for the source of the undead. Volunteers all, those men, for that is the pact we made. The walking dead spawn in endless number, but someone or something must be responsible for each and every one of them miserable buggers. And that is why the Legion is making renewed efforts to locate this accursed fountainhead of death. Too long have we been on the defensive. It's time for action, even if it claims more Legion lives. Souls of steel to a man, my soldiers. They fight by the lighthouse, they fight by the burial mounds, and they fight by the old church. Gods grant that they may find the rotten root from which those scuffling monsters spring, and that they may fulfill their missions. Oh my God. Okay, so we can ask about the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and church all separately. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines forth from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and if there's ghosts involved, Maybe necromantic magic is in play as well. Half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out. So far, I can but hope they're safe. What about the burial mounds? Their ancient funeral grounds are all over the place north of the city. Good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? Doesn't exactly take a genius to figure that one out. Some local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be a boon. Okay, let's ask about the church. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Caecilians raised it and built a church for the Seven, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery, or some such superstitious mumbo-jumbo. Anyway, when the dead rose, this is where they were first spotted, which makes it a likely candidate to house the origin of the outbreak. May my soldiers make it there and back again unscathed. Okay, I think we're about done. Let me see what the additional questions part is. All right, I'm just going to ask what, in his opinion, the orcs are doing on the beach. I'd say they're looking for a weak spot in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Aru's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion. Okay. I think that's enough for now. So we're going to go ahead and take our leave. Whew. Okay, that was a lot. But I actually think, it was worth it. So we got a lot of items for our log. And in particular, the thing that interests me is we're supposed to go to the King Crab. And the guard there will now let us investigate because we have permission from this guy. So I was saying before, like, once I talk to him, I don't really know where to go. Well, now I do know where to go. So actually, I think what I'm going to do is stop here for now. Oh, wait, you know what? I didn't really pay any attention. So I assume that we can level up. I assume that's what this is. But you know what? I'm just not that familiar with the interface. So what I'll do is I'll play around with it off camera. And then when we come back, if it is possible to level, if that's what this means, then we'll do it in part 3. But that's all for now. So thank you for watching. I hope we see you next time.